up, my people? Today we are talking about virtual presentation ideas. How to infuse your virtual presentations with a little something extra that makes them more bearable, more interesting, and that boosts your career and your reputation as a communicator. As always, like and subscribe. Drop me an amen if this is helpful or if you're feeling me. I am trying so hard to get 2,000 subscribers, so every time I get a little message that one of you has subscribed, it fills my heart. So let's dive in. So what are my ideas for great virtual meetings? Well, let me tell you a little secret. I'm not big on gimmicky things like dressing in a crazy outfit or saying something crazy just to get everyone's attention. You know me. I love keeping an audience's full attention, but I don't believe in cutesy weird things just for the sake of being cutesy and weird. Not into it. What I am into is delivering an experience for an audience that connects, that helps them become better, that changes their mind about something. That's what I'm about. So when we talk about ideas for making virtual meetings better, where we need to begin always is with the audience. So right now, I want you to work with me. I want you to think about that meeting. Think about that virtual talk you have to give or pitch or whatever it is you're doing. And I want you to think about who will be in the room. I want you to be as specific as you possibly can. Is it 10 people, 3 people, 4 people? Who are they? What are their names? If you've got a piece of paper, write them down. Write every single person's name that you know of. And if you don't know their names, just cluster them in terms of like common goals that they have, right? So write down their names. Then I want you to write down what they need from you, right? What does a win look like from their perspective, right? What is the highest act of service you can provide each one of those people? Write that down next. Now, you will notice PowerPoint and Keynote are not open, right? We are ideating, we are brainstorming. I think the worst presentations are the presentations that begin in the idea stage inside of PowerPoint and Keynote. I think the best presentations are ideas that germinate, that ruminate, that we're getting pen to paper, that we're out on a walk thinking about. And that's where I want you right now. Write down the names of who's your audience and write down what they need and what you can do to make them better, to be of service, to make a difference for them. Now, once you have that all written down, you're going to sit back and you're going to be like, there's some patterns here. There's some common needs here. They need really 3 things from me. They need A, and they need B, and they need C. Once you've got that assessed, you can take a step back and be like, okay, all right. Okay, so I see what they need. Well, now what are my needs out of this conversation, right? What do I need? What are my goals for this? And you will see where those things intersect. And that nexus, that overlapping set of needs, that's where your presentation starts to come to form, right? That's the area, that is the focus you want, because here is the absolute most important thing for you to remember about virtual meetings is that the people in the meetings don't want to be there. There's a million other things they would rather be doing. I am so sorry, but it is the God's honest truth. They'd rather be on Instagram. They'd rather be checking email. They'd rather be outside, but they're in this meeting, which means that it's human nature. Our instinct is to shove as much detail, information, data into that presentation, into that meeting as possible, because we're trying to show that we're very busy, we're very smart, we belong, we're enough. That is the ego planning your presentation. We don't want to do that. We're doing a virtual presentation that keeps people's attention. That means living in the bullseye of meeting their need, right? So once you've kind of got that mindset, you know what they need, you know what you need, you see where the two overlap. Now I want you to start thinking about what experience you need to construct to make those needs happen, to meet those needs that you've just outlined, right? And the way I like to do it, and if you've worked with me before, you have heard this 1 million times, but I like to think of every meeting has 3 acts. Every conversation, every meeting, everything has a beginning and a middle and an end. I call them Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1, your main job is to signal to the brain of the audience, to the people in that virtual room that really don't want to be there. That is for you to signal in Act 1 that something interesting is about to happen, that connection is about to happen, that you're about to serve them and make them better at what they do, make them smarter, change their mind, give them new data, right? How do you do that? There are a million ways to signal that something interesting is coming, to get them to pay attention to you. Things like asking an interesting question as you're waiting for people to join. Go back and look at my virtual icebreaker question video. That'll tell you all the goods. Another way to start is by telling an interesting story. Maybe it's a really juicy customer story. Maybe it's a train wreck story, and you're going to spend the rest of the meeting showing them how to avoid that train wreck. Maybe you're going to describe this fascinating piece of research you just heard about that's just mind-blowing. What we don't want to do in Act 1 is put up an agenda slide that says meeting objectives, plans. Who wants it? That meeting objective slides. It's where attention spans go to die, is that slide. So instead, you want to signal something cool is about to happen. Stories, data, insights, asking juicy questions. That's how you get their attention. That's Act 1. Act 2 is where you actually deliver the goods, right? It's the meat of the conversation. It's where your 3 things live. And for each of those 3 key messages that you're there to deliver, you're wrapping story around it. You're wrapping data and validating your position with facts and numbers and specifics, right? Because we know we make decisions emotionally first, but then our rational mind needs reasons to justify the decision that's already been made emotionally. So you need to tell stories and engage at the emotional level. But you still need your facts, right? You still need the data. You still need the justification. That's Act 2. Act 3, that's a sublime close. That's the call to action. A lot of times I will echo in Act 3 something that I brought up in Act 1. It's like that old axiom, that old expression in screenplay writing and in film. If you introduce a gun in Act 1, that sucker better fire by Act 3, right? So if you introduce some provocative, interesting opening idea, it could be cool to harken back to it in Act 3. But the most important job of Act 3 is the call to action. What are you asking this audience to do, think, believe, behave differently than when they walked in? Clarity around what you're asking for is key. And then once you've got that trajectory built, now you can build your slide deck. Now you can bring the thing to life because you have a plan. You have a beginning, you have a middle, you have an end. And most importantly, you are checking in every so often, asking good questions. Is this resonating? If so, why? Is any of what I'm saying not resonating? Do you disagree? I love it when people disagree. Let's have a discussion. So it's not just the architecture of the experience, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. It's forcing interactivity by asking good questions and waiting for the answers as you go. That's how you get that juicy, good energy in a virtual meeting room. I mean, there is so much more I could say about that, but I'm going to stop now because that's plenty for you to go on. And drop me a note. Have you tried this? Is it working? Have you experienced something that you think would be helpful to other people watching this video? Drop me a comment and like and subscribe. It saves lives. I'm trying so hard to get to 1,000 subscribers, so every subscription matters to me. And as always, please keep in touch with me. I'm super active on Instagram at BronwynSF. Head over to my website, bronwyncommunications.com/subscribe. Get on my newsletter so that we can stay in touch. And as always, shine on. We need your light. We'll see you next time.